welcome everybody to the stream. Welcome. All right, so I'm gonna give a course just a few moments. For my people on Zoom, I'm about to share my screen really fast, but I'm still talking on the YouTube side, so just bear with me. All right, so I got that shared for the Zoom members. But all right, so let me see. I gotta pull up the YouTube stream. Make sure y'all watch this video. Everybody that oh shit.
You're small.
I didn't mean to do that.
What are the best time frames?
Make sure y'all watch this video because a lot of people been asking me about time frames, so forth and so on. So just make sure y'all tune into this video because I gave a lot of free game on this particular video, diving into overall time frames and so forth and so on. Right. So like I said, make sure y'all check out this video. Actually, go leave a comment on this video, and I might actually, you know what? I might actually pick a winner because last year, during this time, I did a Christmas giveaway. So for anybody that comments on that video, telling me what they learned, not just anything, because of course the whole purpose for y'all to view the video is to learn something from the video. So if anybody comments on that video, tells me something that they learned from it, I will be choosing a random winner from the comment section for a prize, for a Christmas giveaway. And then I might do a Christmas giveaway. I haven't really thought about it. But if you're on this stream and you live in Dallas, one thing that I'm going to do going into the 2025 new year is that I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of my clothes. I'm just one of those people where I feel like in order for you to make room for new things, you have to get rid of the old things. So I'm going to be giving away a lot of clothes, a lot of my shoes that I no longer want. And I still got even stuff that I have that like I haven't wore that's still like brand new. So if you're in Dallas and you know somebody that's in need of clothes, or you just want the clothes, size small/medium, depending on what it is. If you know anybody or if you just want them for yourself, send me a message. Either you can comment on the stream in the actual comment section, or you could just send me an Instagram DM and I'll put my Instagram DM right there on the screen. And then you can just DM me. Now you might have to comment if you do an Instagram like DM. You might have to comment on one of my reels and say like giveaway or something, because a lot of times like my message requests, like I'll show y'all real quick. I got like so many message requests. Like when somebody sends me a message, I don't necessarily get them. So like y'all can see. Hold on. Y'all can see like I get messages from people. Oops. That like they get stuck in my request. So like all of these messages I get, and then you can see like I don't even like, that's just the ones that say all, but then I have ones that say like hidden. So like hidden request, you can see like I still got hundreds of messages inside of my hidden request that gets hidden, and I don't check my hidden every day. So that's why I said like if you are trying to get in contact with me, you might have to send a comment, like write a comment on my post and say check DM. That way I can actually give you guys, like I can actually write you guys back, so forth and so on, right? So let me see what am I pulling up. Let's chart Sundays. We can get rid of these things here. Remember, like I said, y'all go check out this video. Actually, y'all just really need to go check out everything because, and let me open this in the new tab. But y'all need to go check out. Oops. Y'all need to go check out a lot of videos, because I swear I get so many DMs and people ask me like, hey, like, you know, can you do a video over this? And I'd be like, bro, I already did that video. You must not watch the one that I already have on YouTube. I literally already done a video on that. So for the people that do reach out to me, like I said, and ask those things, start, like, I have a whole thing set up for y'all. New here, start with these videos. How to begin, market structure, that's a big one. Everybody asks me about that. Scalping, how to mark up a chart, how to deal with losses, time frames, even like some vlogs, trendline strategies, all of that stuff, right? So like, go watch those videos and make use for them. I remember when I was on my journey, I would literally like watch YouTube videos to go to sleep. Like, that's, I would watch them and study them until I literally fell asleep. So it's one of those things where, like, if y'all going into 2025 and y'all trying to become profitable, like, do y'all due diligence of the stuff that I have. Like, I even get so many people that's just talking about, like, you know, like, well, I want to learn from you. Can you teach me? And it's like, bro, like, I have hundreds of videos on YouTube that's free. Now, not saying that's going to get you, like, to the promised land just from watching all of the free content, but for a lot of people, it'll fill in some of the missing pieces that they, you know, that they have, right? Like, that they have going on, because they already know what's pretty much, you know, like, they already have some things that they've learned. They just need a little bit of the missing pieces to fill in those blanks, right? So, like I said, definitely check out those videos. I got a lot in store for y'all going into 2025. Now, I'm not one of those people that's gonna say like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do it. So be on the lookout for that, but just make sure that oops, I got you on me, my bad. But just be on the lookout for that, and just make sure y'all tapping in, because like I said, I give a lot of free game on the YouTube channel that y'all definitely could take advantage of. Even like this was what I want everybody to do inside of this stream. I want y'all to go back and watch all of these live streams, bro. Like, literally all of these live streams are golden. If you go back and watch these live streams and go look at price after the live stream already happened, more than likely they all played out. And then I talked about why I was looking for the move. And that's the most important part, is that if you know why I was looking for the move, then you can know why the next move is about to happen, so forth and so on. So, like I said, definitely go back and check out these last live streams. Literally, look at all these streams. A hell of different streams that y'all can view. Even from way back when. This is 2 years ago when I very first started streaming. Go back and watch the journey and all of that stuff. But all right, so I'm not here to tell y'all to keep watching YouTube videos, but let's dive into the charts. Now, another thing. So we, of course, we missed last week because I was sick. Now, in addition to that, it is Christmas coming up this week. So me personally, I'm not looking to take a whole bunch of trades. I'm not looking to be in the markets. I'm personally going to be enjoying myself with my family, my friends, so forth and so on. So I really don't even want to look at the market. I honestly didn't even want to do the calls today, but I was like, well, I missed last week. I can't let them miss 2 weeks in a row, because then they're not going to show up no more. They're not going to tune in. They're going to think, oh, he's not doing the calls anymore. So I had to make sure that I hopped on the call for today. And I know there's always some people out there that's going to actually still try to trade, even though that the markets are like going to be not the best in a sense, because it's Christmas, like I said. But I'm going to give y'all what I foresee going into this week, right? So, of course, let's start on gold. On the previous week, well, not last week, but the week before that, we talked about this and we were in our consolidation. And I said once we broke above our structure, retested, that we would get that push up. We talked about this inside of my free Telegram. And oops, I know y'all can't see, my bad. Don't grill me in the comments. We talked about this. We broke out of there. We retested, and then we got that push up. Like I said, we talked about that in Telegram chat. If you're not inside of my free Telegram chat where I give updates about all of these things, make sure you hit the link in the description. It has it inside of there where you can just join the free Telegram chat. And like I said, it's completely free. And I give the updates to the things that we talk about on these calls, right? So definitely take advantage of joining that free Telegram chat. Now, currently where we are at on gold. So like I said, we were here. So I'm going to get rid of this trend line. I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff because we don't currently need it. Where we are at now, let's go to our higher time frames. A lot of things have happened on gold that I've been waiting to happen. And now that they happen, I'm glad, because literally we were in that consolidation and it was not the best, right? So remember when we talked about a few weeks ago where we had this structure here? This was a daily break of structure that we had here. And then we broke this structure. So this was our high, then we had a low, then we had a lower high. We had this break and this retest here. We pulled this sell down. But then, of course, we got to consolidating and we got that push up. But, of course, from there, we made this double top end pattern. And then we got this continuation to last week. We got the continuation pretty much of all of last week. And then we got this little buy up to end on Friday. But currently, where we're at, if we draw this fib on our higher time frames from this point A to this point B, this was about a 61.8 retracement, and then we had this push down. So currently where we're at, let's look at this monthly time frame candle really fast. Monthly time frame is still bearish. We got 8 days left. Weekly time frame, we left with some wick exhaustion. So that is a sign that price is still forming a level of support in this area. And you can see we had some wick exhaustion to the left a few weeks prior. And currently we're sitting at that wick exhaustion as well. So that's something that we have to take account of, but it's not too big of a deal. Now on our daily time frame, we had this huge bearish candle. Then we had this bullish candle with this wick. And then this following bullish candle. This bullish candle has not engulfed this previous bearish candle. So I'm not looking to go bullish just yet. Simply because we had this breaker structure, we had this pullback, double top end pattern, push down, we broke these structure lows, and then this bullish candle still has not closed above. And oh shit, hold on y'all, I forgot to send, I told my Telegram chat I was gonna send them the link and I didn't send them. I'm so sorry, Telegram chat. I really apologize. So hold on, let me give them a second to jump on real quick, because I know they was waiting on it. But all right, so for everybody that's on Telegram, sorry guys, I forgot to drop the link. I'll be real forgetful. Lately, I've been real forgetful and stuff. All right, but I swear the thing is with my Telegram is that I promise you, if you just hit the subscribe button, then you won't even have to worry about, like, you really won't even have to worry about me forgetting, because if you subscribe, then it's gonna tell you Mike Lito has gone live on Instagram. I mean, gone live on YouTube. So if you don't want to miss out and you don't want to have to worry about me forgetting to drop the link inside the Telegram chat, then just hit the subscribe button. Like, I feel like y'all should be subscribed anyways, because why y'all not subscribed? Like, y'all should be here 100%. And of course, like, if y'all ain't subscribed, then y'all really shouldn't even be in the channel anyways, because why you in the channel if you ain't subscribed? You feel me? But all right, so somebody said you stay forgetting about them. I do, but it makes up for it because I still showed up today, right? But all right, so like I was saying, on daily time frame, we have not closed above this candle here, so we're still looking overall bearish. Now, on our daily time frame as well, we can see that we had this trend line break, and then we haven't gotten a retest just yet. So that is one thing that we could potentially be looking for. And then if I adjust this trend line though, give me 1 second. I just want to ensure that this is the trend line that I need. And I'm gonna put one here as well because it had 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounce. So definitely need to accommodate for that. Hold on, let me read the chat. Oh, y'all funny in the YouTube chat. But all right, so another thing too, for everybody that's that just joined, because I literally just watched my views go like up almost like 100. I'm doing a giveaway in Dallas, just to reiterate, for anybody that wants some clothes, that may need some clothes, that know somebody that needs some clothes. I wear a size small or a medium inside of my clothes, and then for my shoes I wear like a 10, 9.5, 10. So if you know somebody wants some clothes or wants some shoes, get in contact with me. My Instagram is on the screen. And then like I was just telling them, a lot of times I get requests, like I get messages, but they don't notify. It won't notify me on my phone because it's in my request folder. So it just like stays there unless I actually manually go check my request. And then oftentimes, like I was just showing them, like it'll be hidden. So like here, and then it has a hidden tab where I don't know why Instagram does this, but it has hidden requests that I got hundreds of, oops, I didn't mean to open that, but hundreds of messages in there from all of these people, but I don't really check those a lot. And then this makes it really difficult. I know it may sound like, well, why don't you just check your hidden thing? It has the message request. So it has message request, then it has story replies, then it has hidden, and then inside of hidden, it has hidden requests, which I don't understand. But it has like more hidden requests in there. So I don't really get Instagram, but like I said, if you need to contact me, you gotta comment on one of my pictures and say check your DM. That would be the only way that I'm gonna see it. But only do that if you trying to like get the clothes, because I'm gonna donate them. And if nobody give them, like come and get some, or not come and get them, I'll just meet up with you. But or I'll just drop them off at a location and tell you where they at. But if nobody does it, then I'm just gonna give them to like Goodwill or Salvation Army or something. Somebody in the comment section said another place though. Let me check. You said where was it? Union Gospel Mission, 4 blocks from your house. How do you know where I live at? That's weird. But okay, I guess you said it's 4 blocks from my house, but nobody knows where I live. I don't even live in Dallas. Are you guys? Yeah, I still use Henko. Hold on. I still use Henko, and yes, I still use Ventura. For the gentleman that's asking, or whoever that is, Amid FX. Yeah, I still use them. All right, so, you said I'm a local bodyguard. Oh, okay. I guess that's cool. But all right, so back to gold, right? So on gold here, like I said, we have this 61.8 retracement, and then our overall targets based off of this structure, of course, would be negative 27. But we got a lot of stuff to get through before we get to our overall targets, right? So we can see that we just broke this daily trend line here, and we had this impulse breaker structure of this level of support here. So what I would like to see is that I would like to see this pull back up to this trend line and or this level of support and resistance here. retest this, and then give us the fall. But of course, y'all know me. I always take it step by step. We're not looking too far into the future. So we still got to drop down to our smaller time frames to see what price is overall doing. Now on my 1 hour time frame, well actually my 4 hour time frame, we still, and this is one thing that I'm skeptical. Oh shit, my bad. Hold on, my bad. Y'all, I know y'all be grilling me. I be forgetting to move the stuff. My bad, I promise. All right, so back to what I was saying. Cause y'all be ready to grill me. Like all I be seeing is the chat just go doom doom doom, like it just be moving. So my bad. It's fixed now though, so y'all should be able to see. I just moved myself out the way completely, so y'all should be able to see, right? But all right, on my 4 hour structure, what I was pretty much saying is that we had this level of support here that we just broke underneath, but the daily time frame trend line is what I want to see if price is going to pull back into. And then if I just put this little 4 hour fib here, this is 23.6 or 38.2 lines up with this trend line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set alert, watch price here, boom, and I'm gonna put daily trend line. All right, so that's what I'm overall looking for. See if we can get that retest. And then let me just remove this one because this kind of irritating me. But so yeah, I could look for a retest at that area. And then on 1 hour, we can see that we're still in this downtrend, forming lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. So even for us to even go in the uptrend, we'll have to break this last lower high point structure. So all of my bias is still bearish. Now on my 30-minute time frame, this is something I was looking at last week. Even though this technically doesn't classify like for a valid fib to draw on the 30-minute, it's really like technically a 5-minute fib. But this fib here barely hit. It hit this little negative 27 right here. But for this point A to this point B, 88.6, this negative 27 lines up with that trend line. So I can foresee this pushing up to this negative 27 here. And we just had an impulse breaker structure. Well, not even a breaker structure, break of this high. So I could look for a pullback, even something like this, where if we get this little counter trend line breaking retest, then I'll be looking for that buy up. And on gold, y'all know gold, that's a decent amount of pips, especially after all of the moves. Matter of fact, speaking about the moves, who caught the Feds, the cuts? Cause gold on Wednesday, bro, fell to the flow. Like this dropped 600 pips, bro, on the Fed cut rates. And I was just like, damn. Like gold really fell. Like gold really dropped like crazy. 600 pips in a day. And then the indices was like, US 30 dropped like 1,000, I think. It was a crazy day in the markets. And that was one of those days where like you don't really want to trade it because it can be so like whipsaw and stuff. But it was just those, like that day was just one of those days where like if you was trading it, then you just caught the move and it was just like smooth selling and it just fell. And you probably made more than what you was going to intentionally make anyways because it just was falling so hard. It was like, damn. This went to my major structure TP and they didn't even, like, it just violated the minor structure TP. So yeah, if you caught that move on the Fed cuts, kudos to you because that was a beautiful move, beautiful sell. But all right, so in addition to that, of course, anytime we have a big move like that, then we should know a correction is coming. So this is a impulse that broke structure. We broke these lows here. Impulse correct itself, so we'll need to see the market correct itself, and then we'll look for a continuation. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of this call, It is Christmas this week, so I'm not necessarily looking for like I might trade tomorrow. Might be the only day, and maybe like Friday. But other than that, I'm not really looking to take a whole bunch of trades. And then, of course, we got New Year's after that. So let me check real fast. New Year's, oh, that's in the next week. So I might trade tomorrow and I might trade Friday. But if not, then I might just take the rest of the year off. Because it's not real. Like, I'm not one of those people where I'm going to enjoy my holidays. Just like I enjoy my weekends away from the markets, I'm going to enjoy my holidays, spend time with my family. Like, there's no point in trying to trade. And I feel like, unless it's like a super clear setup, then that's the only way I'm going to take it. So, if it's super clear, then yeah, I'm going to get money. But if not, then it's like no point in trying to force it. So, just be mindful that even when y'all trading in y'all accounts, like, just be mindful that less is more. You don't got to trade every single day to try to catch a move all the time, because a lot of the time the move not even like really ready, so forth and so on. So just keep that in the back of your minds. But for the week, what I have on gold is I would definitely like to see this continue to push up and then pull up into that area that we got here. And then the note be watch price here. So just how this ghost pattern has it, you will need a break above, retest, and then push up. If you don't get that, then don't take it. Now for a sell, if we break beneath these lows, then I will look for sales. But anything under that, then I'm really not interested until it breaks the lows, and then we can carry that down to that negative 27. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward on gold. Now be mindful that this can pull back deeper. This even could pull back into like this gray zone right here, but of course we're taking it step by step. I'm watching price at that trend line, which is also kind of in alignment with that zone, which is also that negative 27. So confluence on confluence on confluence. That's one of those things where if they all line up, then I'm looking to take it. But we just gotta wait and see, right? So just be mindful of that, right? So does anybody have any questions on gold inside of the chat? And I know y'all got like a delay, so I'll give y'all a couple seconds. All right, perfect. No questions. Perfect. Just take a little screenshot for the gram. Should we really trade on Sunday? If the setup presents itself, you can. But if not, then only time I like to trade on, even not, I wouldn't even say like, anytime I trade on Sundays is if I was in a position like from Friday that I caught before. I mean that I was in a trade before, and then I was still holding it. That would be like the only time that I like to trade on Sundays. Or just like the last couple weeks though, if y'all pay attention to the stream, gold been busting on Sunday nights. So don't really necessarily think like, oh well, the market not gonna move on a Sunday, because gold has been busting. If y'all been on the streams, y'all know every time we got on, we would mark up. By the time we got off, it was like clockwork. It was busting. So it was just one of those things where you gotta be attentive. If the move is there, then the move is there. But if the move ain't there, then the move ain't there. So that's just one of those things where you just gotta be on. You gotta be on point. You gotta set your alerts. You said, but you get ready on Friday. I get ready on like Saturday. I like to look at the markets, glance at them. But a lot of times, I'll be like I'll look at them on the weekends, but then I'll do the markups on these calls now. Since I do them on Sundays, now I just like mark up on the call, or like I'll mark up with my bootcamp students or my blueprint students, depending on what like what's the plan for the week, so forth. So you done trading this year? It just depends. I'm only taking setups that's like clear state. Otherwise, it's fairly like no point. Because of course, I'm not gonna not take a trade when it's like clear as day. But if it ain't clear as day, then it ain't no point in taking it. It's like it's one of those things where if it's consolidating, then hell no, I'm cool. But if it's like this gold move that I've been talking about for a long time, this little breaking structure, this correction, and then look for that continuation. If it give me that retest, then yeah, I might take it. But other than that, not really. Somebody said sell EU. Kira, what you talking about? Why are you telling them to sell EU? Hold on. Somebody said, are you concerned about the consolidation? A little bit, but we broke out of the consolidation and we pulling back into it. But as long as we retest and we don't consolidate, then I'm not really tripping. But if we get back in there and we start consolidating, then yeah, it's cool. When the fib hits too much, when do I bail? The chairman of the Fed did it in 12 minutes. What do you mean when it hit too much? It's supposed to hit. So I don't know what you mean by too much. How come you didn't draw the fib from the left lower high? This is the lower high right here. This high to this low. And then the other fib I got on here is the higher time frame fib. On gold, there was an engulfing candle on the M30. Would you get in at that point? Let's look. Here, not necessarily, because only reason why I wouldn't quite get in there is because it's not at my area of interest just yet. So it didn't break and retest anything. So like, if this was at an area where it broke and retested something, then yeah, I would get in. But this is kind of just in the middle of like no man's land. So like, I'm really not looking to take that from that area simply because it's not retesting anything. I only take breaks and retest. I will never just take a sell off an engulfing candle alone. It always has to be in confluence with something else to give me a reason why that engulfing candle would make sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you. You said Captain Crunch is the shit. Bro, you are funny. I don't even know who you are, but you funny because you've been dropping a lot of comments. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking about Captain Crunch? What are you talking about? We gotta talk about gold. You talk about Captain Crunch, bro. People are so funny these days, bro. I swear. But all right, so that's what I got for gold this week. Just look for this pull up to this -27, which is also this daily trend line. And if we get that break and retest, then I'll be looking for potential sales there. If we don't get there, then simply do nothing. Like, if we don't retest there, then just wait, because you will need a brand new impulse to tell you where the market is about to go next, right? You said broken retest the 1 hour zone, right? It's breaking and retesting to the upside right now. Like this break above here, break above, retest here, and then push up here. That would be like the only break and retest that I see. But that's a bullish break and retest. It's not a bearish break and retest. How often do you do live sessions in your blueprint group? We really don't do a lot of live sessions, but we do, like, I just call the trades. So like, I just call the trades out. So let me show you real quick, just so you can kind of get an understanding. I just call all my trades out, and then I'll talk about them with the trades that we taking. So like, if we boom, that's just that's how I pretty much do the signal alerts. Only time we live trade is we actually just like sit down for a day and say like, hey, we want to do live trading this week, then we're gonna do it. But for boot camp, for people that's in a boot camp, that's the people that's when we're gonna do the live trading. But 2025, I'm definitely thinking about incorporating the live trading into the blueprint. We done it before, we done it a few times, but it's not something that's like an everyday schedule, like how this calls every day on Sunday. That's like a set in stone thing. But majority of the time, I just call the trades out for y'all, and then just take it and run with it. Because a lot of people don't really even be on, like, even inside the community, they don't even be like online for a live trading. They just kind of just get the alerts to their phone while they at work, and then call it a day. You said I'm your next bodyguard. How you know you my next? How you know I don't got a bodyguard right now? 4 hour, my bad. Wait, let me see. Yeah, it broke beneath and kind of retested here, but it failed to make a new low. So that wouldn't, like, that retest here that you talking about, that engulfing candle. Unless you talking about this 4 hour candle, then that's a possibility, but it, like I said, it failed to make a new low. So even if you was talking about this 4 hour candle here, it pushed down, but then it failed to make a new low. So that's an indication that price is going to be pulling back further. And then also this was a 23.6 retracement. So I don't really like to take 23.6 retracements because it's not really a valid pullback. It bounced off the trend line. Is that non-confluence on gold? I don't know what you talk like. If you're talking about this 1 hour trend line, yeah, it's sitting on it, but it still hasn't really given the indication that it's ready to sell yet. He said, I'm heavily invested in Captain Crunch. Don't hate. UN Gospel Mission loves clothes. It's a shelter. Pit bulls don't count, even Bronco. Bro. What are you talking about, bro? How do you even know? I mean, I know I talk about my dog, but how do you even know I got a pit bull named Bronco? Like, what? Bro. This is crazy. Mike, do you like putting your stop losses in profit? Yeah, I do. I like to trail them with like the lower time frame structures. So like what I mean by that is if I'm in a move, I like to look at the time frame structure, the lower time frame structure like M5, M1, and then I like to trail my stops with the last higher lows, because if the last higher low gets broken and retested, then the more likely the trend is about to shift. So therefore, like, I like to have my stop losses above those lower highs in a downtrend, and then beneath the lower highs. Beneath the higher lows in the uptrend. Said, what is bro talking about? Honestly, I don't know. I gotta protect the cautious. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. It's low-key getting scary. Like, what are you talking about? But all right, so yeah, that's what I have on gold, and that's what I'm looking for the week. Like I said, I'm looking for price to pull back, potentially come up and retest this daily trend line, which is also kind of like this zone, and which is also this negative 27, and then hopefully we can get a sell here. So I'm looking for sales in this area here to sell off. If not, we don't get that sell, and then we just like push down, then the next opportunity I'll take is the break and retest of this level of support here. You said the 30-minute time frame hit the trend line is starting to drop because it drops every time it touches it. And yeah, that's true. I mean, I definitely see your thought process behind that, but the only thing that I'm like paying attention to as well is that this only like a 23.6 retracement, and I would like to see it pull up a little bit deeper. And we just broke this level, and it's not really like a retest of this level. Like, I could see it breaking and pushing back to retest this trend line. But that's just me. Like I said, y'all, looks like we talked about that one. Remember last time we was on a call, and the dude was like, I see buys. And it was like a trend line right here. And I was like, well, I'm not looking for buys until we break this structure point, break, retest, and then catch the buy. Just like that gentleman that was on there last time. if y'all see what y'all see, don't let me steer y'all from like seeing what y'all need to see or like taking y'all trade, because there's possibilities that I can be wrong. Like there's possibilities that this can definitely push down from here. Like you not wrong for seeing that. Just me, based off of this little structure move, like this pushing up and then forming a potential higher low point that's let us know he's pulling back a little bit deeper. There's a high probability chance, just based off my experience, that I could see this push into negative 27, this negative 61.8. Does that mean it's absolutely gonna go there just because I said so? No, but that's just me. So like I said, like that's, you're not wrong for you're not wrong for saying that the story here is every time price touch that trend line push there. I just see it potentially pushing up to this trend line first before dropping, and that's just me. But like I said, you're not wrong for thinking that. That's definitely very observant bias in a sense. But like I said, I want to see it pull back deeper on my higher time frame before I get that drop that I'm looking for overall, based off of this daily structure here. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to retire from bodyguarding because you helped me get financially independent. Impulse correction, continuation, repeat. Mike, do you prefer a solid candle to pull away and come back for a retest, or can a retest be next to the break? No, I like to see price push away, and that's kind of what I was just talking about here. Like looking for a price to break, pull back, and then continue, versus this is kind of like sitting right all at the same area. So hopefully that makes sense. But all right, so on to NAS. Let's talk about NAS. Last week we were, well, not last week, 2 weeks ago, we were here, I believe. Wait, what's today? Today, 22nd. We were here last week. We were at this point right here. So what I was talking about was this ghost pattern played out, and now I'm saying watch price at this trend line. And then if we broke beneath this structure point, retested, then we would look to carry it down. Obviously, this sell portion played out, and then we had this little, not even a break and retest of this trend line, but a break and retest of this level of resistance. Break, retest, and then push down to this area. We never got the break and retest, so we never came down to the zone, but then price stayed in this overall uptrend structure. So we can get rid of this, we can get rid of this. And then it's crazy because I was talking about this with one of my best friends, and I'm like, damn, NAS hit that negative 61.8 TP, and when I say that shit fell to the floor, and I ain't really been trading NAS, like I really only been looking at gold, and I'm like, damn, this was the play. But it really didn't give me like all of my entry confirmations, so I really wouldn't have taken it anyways. But this was the freaking, like, when I say NAS, were, bro, look at this drop, bro. 1,000 points in a day. Absurd, bro. But that goes to show you that these fibs, negative 61.8, it hit that negative 61.8 and literally melted. And when I say melted, I mean melted. Like that was a huge day in the market, right? So now where we are at the moment. Let's look at this trend line here and see if we can adjust it a little bit better. And then we can get rid of this daily higher time frame fib because this hit TP. And then this also, actually, I'm gonna just hide it. And then we can still look at our 4-hour structure as such. So we got a new high, and then we got a new higher low, and then we got this new high point and this potential new higher low. And then let's look at our 1-hour structure, and I'm gonna delete a lot of this stuff so it's a lot cleaner. Oops. All right, so based off of our 1-hour structure, it will go as such. So this was our 1 hour breaker structure here. Boom. And then you can see we had this impulse. And then this kind of was the correction. So this one of the ones where like it came so close to hitting TP. This might be finished because overall we had a low, higher low, broke price, created a lower low, lower high, lower low, and then from there, what just happened this week? We had this brand new impulse. So there is a high probability chance that this can go back bullish. It's one of those ones where it could go both ways, because this could retest this level of support like such and then give us a drop to hit that negative 27 TP that I just had up, or it can do this where it pulls back into this zone and then continues to go bullish. Now it is one of those things where we gotta wait and see. That way, like we don't like look too far into the future. We gotta kind of be mindful of both scenarios. That way, we don't get faked out. So I want y'all to watch price here. If we get this break above and a retest, then we good to carry it up higher. But if price just comes here and then rejects and then like failing to make new highs, then I could see this trickling back down and making new lows. So like I said, it's just one of those things where both scenarios can play out. So just be mindful of that. And even this could really even push up into this negative 27 like such. So based off of where we at inside the market, we currently sitting at this little 30-minute level of support. I can see this pushing up to that zone. And then, like I said, we're going to watch price there. So let's go here. So the reason why this ghost pattern is the way it is because we just had a brand new impulse. After impulse comes correction, and then we look for a continuation. However, we don't know that this is going to break this level of resistance. That way, that's why I only have it coming to this level of resistance, because I have to wait and see. Now, if it breaks above and retest, then we're going to go to the negative 27. But like I said, watch price in this particular area. And the only way that I would take sales is right now is like if, honestly, I can't even, only time I would take sales if it's up here at this zone and we reject. But other than that, I don't really, like, of course you could wait for the lows to break, but that's we a long ways from there. So, that's pretty much what I'm looking for. I want to see price come to that zone first, and then I'll reevaluate there. But like I said, it is Christmas week, so we may or may not see a lot of volume. It just depends, because I think actually, let's go here, Forex Factory. All right, so the banks is closed Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, really Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Honestly, bro, a lot of these moves might not happen, right? Like they might happen tomorrow, like some of them, but then the rest of the week, I honestly don't know if it's gonna happen, because the bank's gonna be closed, so the market's not. It's not gonna be no real volume inside the market. So I don't know. I shouldn't even did this call, because I don't want y'all having like the FOMO of like, oh well, Mike said it's gonna here, and then trying to trade it in this week, and it's really not a lot of volume. So like I said, I'm not really trying to take trades this week. I might take a trade tomorrow if it presents itself, or Friday, but other than that, I ain't really looking too deep into it really for the rest of the year. Probably just take the rest of the year off, right? But this is what I got for NAS. Everybody should understand the thought process behind this. The reason why I say like not necessarily looking for like full buys just yet, because this was an impulse break, and this fib here was only a 23.6, so technically I should be dragging this down here. And currently we had a 61.8. So if we had a 61.8, then yeah, this honestly, bro, this really probably about to sell off. But like I said, watch it at that area. That's a prime area to be looking for those sales at. But all right, so that's what I have for NAS. And then US 30, where was we at last time? We was here. And then I said if it broke beneath this trend line, retest it, we sell it back down. So we got that break, retest, push down. And then we pushed up to test the zone one more time before ultimately falling to the floor. Well, actually, no, that was 3 weeks ago. This was the last one. Oh, so this one, no, this was the one where I said US 30 was already kind of at its TP. Once it broke and retested this zone, then we'd sell it off. That was the last on the what was that, the 8th. That was the last call on the 8th. So obviously US 30 literally, like if you trade US 30, you could have made a bag, because honestly it was just like, if you just look at it, it's just simple market structure. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And then of course that huge drop that we had on the Fed cuts, it dropped 1,500 points, which is absurd. That's like COVID. But all right, so where we at right now, let's take a look. Let's clean things up. It's important, y'all, when y'all have y'all charts, y'all, make sure you got a sexy chart. Don't have all of that mess where you can't really understand the flow. Like once you got the stuff that you need to have out of it, you can really get rid of the stuff. And like in 2025, I'm gonna be cleaning up these charts for y'all, so we can just start fresh 2025. But make sure y'all have some clean charts, sexy charts. It's an art. Remember, all of this is art. So you don't want a whole bunch of stuff on the chart where it prevents you from seeing all of your sexy art, because you're an artist inside these markets, right? So we can see here, this is a breaker structure right here on H4. So let's label that. And then we can also put our dots. Oh shit. Hold on. Boom. So we just made a new low. This is all on one impulse on H4. So right now we sitting at a 38.2. So if we have like a rejection off of this area, then we can expect it to drop like huge. But if not, then I can see it pull it back deeper. So let me drag this trend line as such. We can label this. Honestly, I could see this coming right back up to this trend line. And then just like how I was talking about on NAS, this had an impulse. Same bias that I had on NAS. Looking for it to pull back up into that zone. That would be the move that I'm looking for. Like such. So watch price here. And the reason why we watching price here is because one, it's a trend line, so we don't know if this trend line gonna get broken. And then two, there's a level of support. So like, we don't know if it's gonna break the trend line, and we don't know if it's gonna break the level of support. So therefore, we gotta be mindful. Like if we carry the buy, we can only carry it up to here. Even from here, where we at right now, that's still a decent 280 points. Still very decent, even though it's not really like an entry right now. But honestly, hold on, let me delete this real quick, because this is what I'll be looking for actually. Give me 1 second. Let me find something real quick. I need to find a pullback before that push up. That's what I'm looking for. something like this. Yeah, that's more like my speed right there. That's my speed right there. So something like this. A little pullback ski. And then watch price in that area right there. Straight like that, straight like that. All right, so that's what I'll be looking for. Price pull back into the zone, push off from the zone, retest, pull up to that level of support or level of resistance from there. So that's what I have on US 30. Pretty simple. Overall, still looking for a bearish bias, especially since we had this level being broken, this structure point being broken. Now we coming back to retest, and then we could look to potentially carry down. Overall, like this really probably gonna come back to that daily trend line, test that, but that's a long time. That's probably going into the new year. So for right now, I'm just looking for this little buy up to the zone and then watch price in this area here. So that's what I have for US 30. And then honestly, I don't even know why I continue to mark up GU because I say this every week, but we talked about this on the 8th last call. And then I believe when we talked about this, I don't know if we talked about this on the call or if I was talking about this with the students or whatever the case may be. But this ghost pattern didn't quite make it to that -27. But it then broke, consolidated, broke, retested, and then pushed up. Honestly, I don't even know why this is here because I don't even trade you. But actually, I think this is the one I went over with my student about this GU trade. But all right, so here currently where we are at. Honestly, I don't even feel like marking up GU though. This gonna sell off because just like EU is in a downtrend, and it's gonna. All right, so for GU, we still forming lower lows and lower high points all throughout this area. We hit -61.8 take profit on this, and we got the reversal. So I would just wait and see. This is gonna pull back into here like this. And then wait for this. Watch price in this blue zone. Basically what I'm getting at. Watch price here. Because once you get here, and this is like me looking into the future, but once you get more data, like if this ghost pattern like forms out, then you'll be able to do something like this. And draw like a trend line. And then its counter trend line, ultimately break, retest, sell it down. That's what like I can foresee happening. Y'all know I really don't like to trade. I don't even like to trade you no more, but for these calls I do them for y'all. But this honestly, y'all, this not really like I don't really like marking it up. It's just ugly to me. It's a lot of consolidation. It's just kind of ugly. But I don't really like trade Forex Trading, so that's just me. But somebody said, can you do GBP AUD instead of GU? It moves super clean and a lot faster. Honestly, I really don't even want to do like really no Forex Trading because I really don't trade them. But I know y'all trade them, but I think more people trade GU more than they trade GA. So that's the only reason why I like keep doing these. Now GJ is probably a little bit better. GJ been brussing, but it's a little bit smoother than GU. Now GJ, let me look at something real quick. GJ just been on this uptrend. I could still see it going in this uptrend, honestly. Now let me clean this stuff up because this looks ugly. All right, so GJ, honestly, this looked like the cleanest one for the week. To be honest, we have that hit take profit, that hit take profit, that hit take profit. All right, so GJ, yeah, GJ looked pretty smooth. Pretty smooth sailing. Now, one thing I can say about GJ is that there is a possibility that this can pull back and retest this trend line before going there. But we won't know that until we get more data. But it looks smooth though. It definitely look. This definitely look like it's about to continue to push up. All right, so I would like to see this pull back to this trend line first though. That's the first thing that I want to see. And then from there, look for those buys potentially. So watch price here again. And then ultimately, what I want to see is this though. On GJ. Now, like I said, there is a possibility that this can pull back deeper. But for the structure that we in right now, and that's the reason why I only got the ghost pattern coming there, is because like I can see this consolidating into this trend line and then continue to go up. Because we've been in this uptrend. Like if you just look, higher highs, higher lows all throughout this area. So pretty smooth. Like even if I just like copy and paste this whole thing right here, this is just like what I just drew. So like something like this, where it comes and tests this trend line and it'll push up. Now the only thing with GJ, the difference between GJ is that it's not a USD pair, so it's not gonna have the same like slowness of a USD pair because it's not closed like the USD pairs. So that's something to be mindful. But that's what I have for GJ. And then of course, if we break beneath under there and retest, then look to carry it down to this next level of support here. So either or, but I want to see it pull back to that trend line and then buy up. But that's what I got for GJ. Like I said, I'm not really, I really don't like doing the Forex pairs, but I do them for y'all. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button because I'm out here marking up these Forex pairs just for y'all so that y'all can get these markups week in and week out, right? Now, going into 2025, it's important that, hold on, let me make sure y'all see my face. It's important that you guys reflect on how y'all 2024 was. So don't just let, like, you know, even though we just did a markup, even though we just marked up for the week, don't let your blindness of trading, of like trying to make so much money, steer you away from reflecting on the year of 2024 and the journey that you had within your trading. So what I mean by that is like, don't just always try to trade and never do any reflection. This is a perfect time going into 2024. Going into 2025 to sit back and say like, okay, I did this right trading this year. I did this right, and I did this area. This area right here needs some improvement, right? So being mindful of that, take that data that you have and use it to your best ability where you can learn from it, because I feel like a lot of people just get so caught up in just trading. They never really reflect on like, how was the year? How was the quarter? How was the last 2 weeks? How was the day? Like they just like trade, and they never really reflect on like, damn, well, I did this good, or I did this bad, or I need to, work on this. And that's why it's important to like have a journal so you can go back and read those journals. If you don't have a journal, then you just kind of going off of your memory. And as a human, your memory is gonna be shot. Like if you don't have a journal to reflect your trades, you're not gonna remember all your trades, because like, especially if you lost. If you lost a trade, your job, like your brain is literally programmed to like forget things that aren't enjoyable to you, in a sense, like things that you don't really like, or things that cause you pain or anything. Like your brain tries to do everything it can to make you forget those things. So it's important that y'all reflecting and y'all actually taking the time to sit down with yourself, be real with yourself, be honest with yourself, and say like, what did I do good, what did I do bad this year? And then that way, going into 2025, you can have a better year than you did in 2024. And that's not to say that everybody years was going to be bad. It's just to say like, okay, what did I do good? What can I do better? Because there's always room for improvement, and it's always room to take a next step, right? So just keep that in the back of your minds, and do it for y'all. Like, don't just do it because I said so. Like, do it for yourself, and allow yourself to become better individuals. Like in that video, I put like, be the main character in your own life, in a sense where like you can like focus on your growth as a trader, or your like, if we just took like the real life aspect out of this and said like, this was a video game, like life is a video game, and we said that, okay, how would we want our character in this game to act? How we want our character to move? What's the attributes that we want our character to have? Like, if we asked ourselves those things and then said like, okay, I'm going to act like that person every day, I'm going to be that person every single day, next thing you know, like, we're going to ultimately like become that person. So if you look back and ask yourself like, how was my character in 2024, and it wasn't really who you wanted to be, then do the things that you want to do to change that person. Like, I even share something with y'all. Like, me personally, I look back on 2024 and I'm like, dang, it was a good year. Definitely a good year, but I didn't really like do all of the content things that I really wanted to do in 2024. Like, my character could have did more. Like, I could have put out more YouTube videos for you guys. I could have did more streams. Of course, like, we ended the year strong because, we ended the year with like 11, 12 streams. But like, I feel like I could have did better. So with 2025, okay, maybe I'll shoot for, more streams, more YouTube videos, more content for you guys so you guys can learn. Like, those one of those things where like I can reflect back on and say, hey, I could do a little bit more. Not to say that what I did in 2024 was bad. It's just to say, okay, 2025, I know I can do more, because why? I envision my character as somebody that can do more. And it's like, how do you envision yourself? And it's just one of those things where like, you got to ask yourself like, what it is that you want. Like, what it is that, who do you want to be? And I know it's so easy to like look on Instagram and look at all these traders on the internet and be like, man, I want the lifestyle, I want this. But like, you got to ask yourself like, what did they do to get that? Like, you see, like, even if you go to my page, you see my cars and stuff, like, but did you see me working? Did you see me staying up late nights? Do you see me studying stuff so I can give it to y'all? Like, you don't really necessarily see that. So like, don't just kind of fall for like the image in a sense, and ask yourself like, okay, what is, like, if I envision somebody that's a millionaire, or if I envision somebody that drives this type of car, lives in this type of house, how do I think that they act on a day in and day out basis? How do I think that they trade on a day in and day out basis? Like even to this day, like I even tell my students this, because when I'm trying to convince my students to like trade effectively, I want them to think the way that I think, in a sense, right? So even during my journey, like when I would take trades that I know I wasn't supposed to take, I would think like, damn, what if my mentor was sitting right behind me? Like, what would be, like, how would she look at that? Like, how would she see these things, and what would she say? She would be like, you don't have the confirmation to take that trade. Why are you taking that trade? That's a dumbass trade. Or like anything, or like hearing her voice in the back of my head to say like, oh, like I'm waiting. Like you got to have all your confirmations to place that trade. When y'all sitting at y'all desk, or even when y'all reflecting, when y'all looking at the markets or whatever, like you got to ask yourself like, damn, how would, not necessarily even just me, because I know everybody on this stream doesn't like look up to me or like only follow just me. So like this is for anybody that y'all follow or anybody that y'all got mentored by, anything like that. Ask yourself like, okay, how will Mike act in this situation? Will Mike just take this trade if it doesn't have the confirmations? Would so and so take this trade? Like, yeah, a lot of y'all know me from Jess. Like, would Jess take this trade? So like, you really gotta ask yourself. You gotta have those voices in your head. Like, how is Jess acting on a day in day out basis? Like, she real disciplined. How's Mike acting on a day in day out basis? He's real disciplined. Like, you gotta kind of do the reverse engineer and say like, okay, that's the person that I'm going to become, not the person that's, oh, they just got all the highlights on Instagram where they got all of this nice stuff. It's like you got to do the nitty gritty work to say like, okay, what are they doing to get that? How are they preparing themselves? What are they doing? Are they learning from books? Are they listening to podcasts? Are they putting in the chart hours? All of those different things that's going to build that character ultimately that y'all want to become. So it's just one of those things where I want everybody on this call to really reflect on their journeys in 2024 and then realize like, who do you want to become in 2025? Like, who is it that you want to become? And that's something that you got to ask yourself. And if you ask yourself that, and you know, like if you know single-handedly, oh, I want to become this person, and you visualize that, then you can get to work on that person. But if you never know who it is that you gonna want to become, then you gonna just be the person you've been for your whole life, and that's just who you are. But it's like, is who you are enough right now, or do you want more? It's a real question to ask yourself. But with that being said, guys, like I said, do that work, do that groundwork for yourselves going into 2024. I appreciate everybody for tuning in on this call. Sorry I couldn't make it last week because, like I told y'all, I was sick. But just be mindful of that. Of course, I'm always leave y'all with some value. I'll let y'all know. Let me see. Hold on. What is the date? So next Sunday is the 29th. So we'll have class. We'll have class on the 29th. It's not a holiday. So like I said, with that being said, make sure y'all smash that like button. Make sure y'all smash that subscribe button. And for people that was on Telegram, if y'all don't want to miss it, because I forgot to drop the link in the chat, just hit the subscribe button. Literally take y'all 2 seconds to do it. And for the people that's in Dallas, oh, I forgot. If you want those clothes, like I said, I'm gonna be giving away a lot of clothes, a lot of shoes, and all of that stuff. If you want those stuff, size small, size 9.5, 10, and shoes. If you want all this stuff, send me a message to my DM and comment on one of my pictures and say check your DM, because that's the only way that Instagram will actually allow me to get the notification. And then I'll give you guys a location where you guys can pick up that stuff, because like I said, I'm giving away a lot of stuff because honestly, I want to make enough room for the new. Like I want to make room in my closet for new stuff. I don't want the old stuff no more. And that's the same thing you guys should do with a lot of stuff. Like even in the charts, make room for new. Like clear off your charts, make them nice and sexy. For relationships, make room for something new. Make room for new opportunities, so forth and so on. So with that being said, guys, I can smell some food getting cooked right now in the house. So I'm about to go downstairs and see what my girl got. on the flow for me. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, make sure I hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see